In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a one-bag piping technique, which is not only very easy, requiring minimal tools with minimal cleanup, but it also creates really striking, colourful results. All you need is a piping bag with a tip, any tip like a star tip or a petal tip, and I'll show you a few different examples in this tutorial. Tint your buttercream the colours you want, and either line them up on a piece of cling film, or you can spoon them one by one into your piping bag. If you use cling film, it's easier to see what you're doing and to clean the piping bag at the end, but I'll show you how to do this without cling film for the rest of the cakes in this video. If you use cling film, roll it into a log and cut off one end where the buttercream begins, and then drop it into your piping bag. Now pipe onto your cake, and as you pipe, the colours higher up in the bag will gradually push through the middle of the bag and then out through the tip at the end, so the colours will change gradually and blend slowly into each other. I'm using a 1.99 tip for these rosettes, which are quite dramatic, Gothic-like spikes. This one-bag piping technique looks really striking on this cake, as you can see the different colours from the piping bag showing up in different parts of the same piped rosette. If you have too much of one colour in the bag, and you want to move on to the next colour, pipe some of the buttercream out into a bowl until you see the next colour coming through, and then go back to your cake. And if you run out of buttercream, just add more buttercream to the top of the bag and then continue piping. If you're using a cling film log within your piping bag, make sure you pull that out before adding more buttercream. Otherwise, the cling film will get caught in the piping tip as you pipe your buttercream out. If you're enjoying this tutorial, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for a new cake decorating tutorial every week. Also, I have an online cake decorating school where I teach how to decorate cakes with stunning designs using unique techniques like this. And to find out more information, click the link in the top of the screen or in the description below this video. Now for some variations of this technique. You can use it for any kind of cake, not just a round one. Here I'm going to use it for a sheet cake, and it works well on cupcakes too. I'm cutting my sheet cake in half to make an extra long cake, and arranging the halves on a board to display it, and I'm wrapping it in cling film for a few hours to keep it moist until I'm ready to decorate it. Tint your buttercream, and I'm using my 4-minute buttercream, and the link for the recipe and tutorial is in the description below this video. Fit your piping bag with a tip, and I'm using a 1.99 again, and spoon your buttercream into the bag, or you can use the cling film method. If you spoon it straight in, it's easiest and less messy to fold your piping bag over a glass to hold it open while you do this. Make sure you push each colour of buttercream all the way down into the bottom of the bag so there's no air trapped in the bag, which will cause the buttercream to spit out later as you're piping. The prettiest way to blend the colours is to follow the colours of the rainbow in order, not jumping around too much. Here I'm doing green, blue, purple, pink, orange, so that they blend through the spectrum of colours. And I'll show you on the next cake what happens if you don't order the colours in this way. And here are my pretty pastel rainbow colours, ready for one bag piping. I'm starting at one end of the cake, piping with the first colour of buttercream in the bag, which is this pale green colour. After a few rows, I want to start blending into the next colour, the blue. But there's still a lot more green in the bag, so I'm squeezing a bit of the green out into a bowl until I see some blue coming through, and then going back to the cake. And now the rosettes and swirls are green with some blue. As you continue piping, you'll see the colours blend into each other, moving onto the colours higher up in the bag, but still incorporating the previous colours in parts of the piping. With this technique, the colours don't pipe out individually, like they would if you used different piping bags for each colour. Instead, each colour pipes through the previous colours, so they blend together gradually. My orange is starting to come through the pink, and although there are still specks of blue and green and purple within my piping, you can imagine that if I put the orange lower down in the bag, right after the green or the blue, as the orange came out, it would blend with the green or blue and make brown, and the colours wouldn't be as pretty. I've run out of buttercream, so I'm folding the bag over a glass again, and you can either add more of the last colour, which for me would be that pale orange, or a new colour, and I'm choosing to do a pale coral for my colour here. Squeeze the buttercream all the way down, and because the rest of the colours are still lining the bag, when you squeeze the bag to pipe out this new colour of buttercream, it's pushing out past all of those other colours, so they'll also be incorporated in the piping of this new colour, continuing this pretty blending effect all over the cake. Here's an example of when colours don't blend together as prettily. I'm creating a sunrise cake, Googling sunrise photos and picking out a few colours from this photo, tinting buttercream, and then layering the colours in the bag to do this one bag piping technique. I'm using a petal tip for this one. The first colour is blue, and then every other colour is going to come through the blue, blending together slightly, and since the colours are contrasting, blue and orange, as they blend they make a sludgy shade of orange, which is perfect for the sunrise effect, but if you wanted a bright blue and bright orange cake, you might not want this blended effect created by one bag piping. You can use this technique for other buttercream details, not just the frosting on a cake, like these piped flowers. I'm layering my colours in the bag, and as I pipe, the first flowers are pink, and then more orange and yellow comes through in the later flowers. So I could arrange these flowers on a cake to make a cascade of ombre-coloured flowers going down the side of the cake. I love this technique because it's so versatile, so as well as being easy to do and easy to clean up, there are endless possibilities for cake designs with it. I'd love to see what you create, so if you share any pictures on Instagram, please tag me, British Girl Bakes. Thanks for watching. Remember to click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for a new cake decorating tutorial every week.